So I turned up. That first day, I remember, and I sat down, and you walked in. And it's good to know that you hated it, but you didn't show me that day because otherwise I wouldn't have come back. So you turned up, and I asked you to do shooting form, left hand and right hand.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and you did it for like literally 30 to 45 minutes. And I sat there watching, and I came over and said, "What are you doing?" And you said, "You told me to do shooting form."
Yeah.
And that was the moment I went, "Damn, all right." Like, because normally people do it for like 5 minutes. They get bored, they stop, they start mucking around. And I was waiting for you to muck around to go to the next thing.
Yeah.
And you just didn't stop. You just kept doing it. and that I was like, okay, if this kid's like actually serious about getting better, then, you know, maybe I'll stay around another day. Yeah, people don't know Gaspher. Gasper's the guy, the original guy that started the St. James basketball program. So Ebro obviously is the founder. It was his vision. He had nothing else to do at the time, so he was looking for something more to do to keep himself busy besides studying education and having kids and trying to run something at St. James. So he... I'd actually quit coaching. I was done. I was doing my last coaching gig at Terrace for a friend of mine. You know, I said, okay, yeah, look, I'm done. I'm just going to get a job.
You said that every year. This is you're still saying it every year.
I even remember you saying that back then. I'm done, man.
You're every saying this shit every year, bro.
This kid can't run laps, man. Extra training.
Train it up. So that was the plan in end of 2009, and I was at Gregory Terrace at Waterford Place, and as I said, just doing a favour for a friend, and Ebro rocks up with a few kids, like 5 kids from St. James, Joe, Jed, yourself,
Bino,
Bino, and an Asian guy.
Yeah.
What's his name? He's the only one.
Hops. We should call him Hops.
Yeah.
Hops,
He's the only one that I don't remember. But, and Ebro said, oh, you know, can we join in? And Terrace, you know, as Ebro does, they let him join in and we did some stuff. And then after it...
Oh, so you're at Terrace. He's at
St. James.
And you said, hey, let's join in. Can we join you?
I was doing a camp.
was doing camps.
I wasn't teaching at Terrace. I was doing like a last camp.
Yeah.
Just one day.
Yeah.
One day camp. And like they always do, and Ebro just got the kids there as well because there wasn't anything at St. James really. And so he just brought them in, and then afterwards he's like, "Oh, I've got this great program and blah blah blah, and you know, do you wanna join in?" I was like, "Nah, I'm good, I'm finished." So I said no for a little bit, and then eventually he convinced me to turn up one day, and then
when I said I had a great program, I had no program. I just had a stack. I had a level 1 basketball thing and a stack of enthusiasm.
Yeah,
that was my program.
And there was no program, and it was lies for about 3 years. But you know, we don't need to go into that too much.
They were good lies. They were good lies for a good purpose.
They were done with good intentions.
Yeah.
And so basically, you know, I'd coached the level I wanted to coach at, and so I said to Ebro, okay, I'll turn up every morning at 6 a.m. and see who turns up, and if people turn up, and then we'll keep going, and if not, then that's it.
6 a.m. Why'd you say 6 a.m.?
Well, because I didn't want to motivate anyone. So if you got up at 6 a.m., if you were there at 6 a.m., you wanted to be there, and I was like, the biggest thing that for me, the end of the coaching road for me was that at that stage I was coaching rep and state and different things, and like those kids wanted someone to drive them instead of being driven, and that never worked. So I'd worked that out. So that's why I was going to just stop because it wasn't really worth it. So I just said, like, if I start at 6 a.m. and you tell the kids and they turn up, then you know, they want to be there, and I'm happy to help them. But if they don't, then at least we know and we tried. So you know, I just turn up at 6 a.m. every day, and you know, usually no one turned up, and then Gaspher turned up one morning, and came in and, you know, I don't know if you had shoes on or not, but you just turned up, whatever.
This guy reckon I walk barefoot.
Bro, I'm tired of this narrative, man. Okay, guys, can you kill this narrative? This shit is messed up, bro. Can we clean this narrative up,
Did you?
They gotta clean it.
Did you have Vans on or bare feet?
Shirt tore up and everything. Like, bro, you got to school.
He didn't wear a shirt. He didn't have a shirt on. He just rocked out without a shirt on, bare feet, get straight off the train. I'm like, bro, come on, man, what are you doing?
I like the straw up the pants, like back in the village. Bro, Gaspher, we gotta set this straight, bro. Gaspher, we gotta set. What was your first memory of that day? Do you remember that day you first met him?
Because I'll tell the rest of my story. Let's see if they're the same.
Gaspher Obwona, by the way. Gaspher Obwona. We haven't even introduced Gaspher Obwona, man. What was your first memory of that day when?
Yeah, so I remember, it was Mr. E that came in. It's like, guys, come in together. Call everyone together. Mm-hmm. And then we all just like stand around. I was like, look at this guy. What has he got to say today? So it's like, we got this guy. His name is, Kirron. He's going to come in. He's a great coach. He coached at like, this school and this school. And, he has all these fundamentals and things like that, that he knows. He's such a great coach. He'll get us where we need to be.
Hype, man.
He's hyping us up and everything. Yeah, we were like, okay, cool. And then he walks in, looks around the room. Kirron, he doesn't really kind of like have a conversation.
Yeah, he don't talk really.
He doesn't
talk.
So he just kind of like just stands there, put his hand in his pocket, and he just looks at you. Stares at you. You're like, okay. He's like, yeah.
This story came in.
That's not a true story, bro. No, like literally. I'm telling you. Hey, you had your...
This is good. Put my mic down.
I've never heard this side yet.
Because, you had your chance to, say your truth,
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got to sit back. You got to sit back and hear me talk, all right? So... Yeah, so he just, he obviously just stands there and like looks at you, and then he's like, looking at everyone kind of like playing, and then he's watching and he's watching. I was like, what is this guy staring at? Like, he was obviously, just standing there. But as a coach, right, you kind of like watch the players and see, their weaknesses, their strength. How they play, what kind of speed they play.
So you're going up and down a little bit.
Yeah, so I was like, I was obviously just, I was like dribbling, shooting, whatnot, but he was watching. And what he does is that he watches you and then he comes to you and then he kind of, he gives you the feedback. So the thing with Kirron is he'll watch where you need to improve and then he'll tell you, okay, so this is what you're doing wrong, right? You're athletic, for example, like you're athletic. But this is where I see that you need improvement on, So, for example, he'll be like, Gaspher, you're really fast. You're faster than anyone here right now, right? And then he'll be like, okay, so this is what you need to work on in order to beat this guy to the left or to the right. Or this is the player that you need to go and watch, right? And then this is how you play. Like, you play like this person or this person.
You were still doing that bullshit back then?
Bro, he would like literally, and this guy, like, I appreciate him to this day from, how he, he fundamentally broke how I play basketball, like, to the T. Like, he taught me this is how you, you go left, you go right. And I would do that and I'll practice it. Like, after he leaves, it's like, work on this. And I would work on that like for hours every single day. I would just be like there, okay, this is what he taught me. And I'd just be like, jab here, go left, jab here, go right, jab here, jump shot, jab here, slow down, go fast, this and that. And literally I would practice that every day. So that's what I learned about Kirron is that, like, he would teach you. It's not going to force it on you. It's up for you to be able to go and just, and learn what he's taught you, and going back to conversation, like what he said earlier, I'll tell you to rock up at 6:30, but I'm not going to tell you to rock up or not. Whoever comes, then I'll teach you, or I will, obviously I'll train you. You know what I mean? And I think that's where it all kind of started. Like what I say when what I mean by saying he'll watch you. He'll watch how you play, and teach you best on your strength and what you're good at and what you're not good at, and how you can improve that as a player. That's some of the things. That's just one thing I can mention. But there's so many other things that I've learned over the years from him being a coach. Is that there is so many different avenues that we can go. That's just one of the first ones. But you're
going too fast. You're going too fast. What made you even come back? What made you believe?
I didn't even want to come back. The way this guy was training.
For real?
No, I'm gonna be true. I didn't want to come back because it's the ego. It's like, no, I already know. I'm already like fast. What do you mean telling me I can go extra fast? Or like, oh, bro, like you can jump, but you can jump higher. Or like, he would, oh, you're shooting, like, it's great, but you need proper forms. And, him and Mr. Ebro, like, they would put in time and, they would, like, invest in, like, like DVDs. Like, this guy made me watch, like, how to beat someone without having the ball. Like, how the hell? I was like, in my head as a basketball player, I'm like, how can I beat someone without the ball? Like, how is that even, how is that even possible? Like, how can you beat someone without even, like, those are the kind of things that he would teach you. But he has so much knowledge about basketball that, if I was to go back, literally, I would pick his brain, like, from A to Z. Like, I would pick his brain. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do, like, and then I would just, because he, like, the knowledge that he has for basketball is very, like, it's very high.
I think too, in context at that time too, when Kirron did come on the scene and really started the St. James basketball program, basketball costs money. So if you want to make it to the next level, you had to have an individual coach. So we had kids come to our school and say, we don't have to pay for Kirron to coach us. We don't have to pay for individuals. Yeah. Like, no, if you turn up and you're there and Kirron's there, you got 2 hours. You don't have to pay for those 2 hours. He's here. And that was the difference for a lot of players having access to a high quality coach where you didn't actually have to pay them by the hour. If you know what I mean? So I think that was important at that time. That you were there with Kirron at that time, where it wasn't, you weren't. It was a barrier that I think we overcome pretty early in the program.
Yeah, I think the story I tell, which is similar. It's a similar story. So I turned up that first day. I remember, and I sat down, and you walked in. And it's good to know that you hated it, but you didn't show me that day because otherwise I wouldn't have come back. So you turned up and I asked you to do shooting form, left hand and right hand.
I remember that,
Yeah, and you did it for like literally 30 to 45 minutes. And I sat there watching and I came over and said, what are you doing? And you said, you told me to do shooting form.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I went, damn, all right, like, because normally people do it for like 5 minutes. They get bored, they stop, they start mucking around. I was waiting for you to muck around to go to the next thing. Yeah. And you just didn't stop. You just kept doing it. and that I was like, okay, if this kid's like actually serious about getting better, then, maybe I'll stay around another day. So it was like, because as I said, I was done. But then because you just listened and went, okay, I'll just do it. So you overcame. It's really interesting that you said that you were like, nah, why am I listening to this guy? Because the fact that you overcame your ego, and then I also like overcame my ego, like, okay, this is, why am I here? And then we both decided that it was a journey that we would start and just see where it went without really knowing where it would go.
100%. Yeah.
Like that's literally how the program started. So that's so interesting, as you said, that your ego was kind of offended by the fact that I had you doing such basic things, but you kept doing it.
Yes. So there was, So there was, there was a lot of things that I was doing that I wasn't used to. Because when you're playing basketball, you're just thinking about just dribbling down the court, or you're just thinking about crossing someone over, but you're not taking into terms that there's so many different things that you need to actually, like put in place when you're playing. Like, there's things that I was used to. Like, we do muck around games at the old basketball court.
Downstairs?
Downstairs. Yeah, we would just play muck around, and it's never like, it's like it's like 1-on-1. Like you do your stuff, and hopefully like you cross someone over, and it makes you feel good, or you shoot over someone. But I've never taken the what's the word I'm trying to look for. So I've never really thought of basketball like that until Kirron came in and be like, do proper forms, and I'll work on that for hours. I'll get good at that first before I move into the next step. So it was like that. When I was shooting there, I was shooting because I was like, I haven't shot in that form before. It was literally like, he would be like, this is how you grab the ball, and that's how you put your hand here, but then you don't shoot with both hands. You actually just shoot with one hand. And I didn't even know that. I was I just thought you should just
you're just shooting. Yeah.
Just things and technique, like, you bend your knees and you just, you have a proper form of how to shoot. I didn't know all that. So it was like, it was quite interesting to get that, from Kirron, and just, taking it in and just, improving on that.
Yeah, but you took it on. Like, that's the thing. Is like, it's hard for everybody. It's always been hard for, like, to be coached or to change what you're doing.
Yeah.
In anything is really hard. Because your brain thinks you know what you're doing, but to actually listen to somebody, take it on board, and then apply it.
Yeah.
I think that, that's the hardest thing. And that's, I guess, what I was so appreciative of is the fact that you listened, you wanted to listen, and then you did things and it worked. Because I thought it would work, but then when you see it working, it's, it's always good.
You just take it home and go do it at the park too?
Yeah. So it's funny. You guys obviously remember Rudy.
Yeah.
Rudy Drummond, yeah.
He was the next guy.
Nah, Rudy is my guy. Like, we were obviously, we would like, Kirron would show us something during training, and this is after we finished the team scrimmage, and after we finish just doing scrimmage games, and he would pull anyone that wants to learn something individually. Like, it depends. If you're tall, then you're learning how to post someone up and how to have the proper footsteps to be able to beat that person and score over. And someone like me, I would learn, different techniques, how to beat someone fast, because I was literally like, I was very athletic.
You were kind of fast.
Yeah, so it's like I would learn stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, so he would teach us something and I would take it home. So there were, obviously me and Rudy, like, we would train at the park every single day. Goodna. Yeah, Goodna. If you know Goodna, you know Goodna. Yeah, that's where we pretty much train at, and every day, like, even before I go to school or after school, I'm there every single day, and me and Rudy would train there every day. It's funny because Rudy sometimes he would, like, his kitchen is right there facing the basketball court. It's like, damn, this guy's there every single day.
He's seeing you there every day.
He wants to also,
and he wants to be better than you.
We are so competitive.
Yeah, he is competitive.
Me and Rudy was so competitive. Like, literally, it's like when we play basketball there at Goodna, we're so competitive towards each other. Like, it's literally, if I score on him, he's mad, and if he scores on me, I'm mad. It's just literally like, and we'd use the fundamental. We just don't play basketball for the fun of it, but we use the fundamental that we were taught at, at the basketball scrimmage, with Kirron, and we would just do that every single day. It's like just competitive. We were getting better and better, and we obviously wasn't working at the time. We were pretty young, but we would, whatever we get, and we just kind of invest in little, basketball cones and stuff like that. We put chairs there and making sure, we pretend that's the defense, and we do some shooting drills and things like that. So we just pretty much would spend most of our time there after school every single day, just practicing, getting better, and taking also a journey that, obviously, Ebro, started, and also KB, also, all of us. It was just like a journey that we wanted to be a part of, that we didn't know how it's going to, how it's going to take, how it's going to, what's the result. We didn't know that, but we just wanted to improve our basketball skills, as high as possible. And I remember we used to go at KB's house all the time. You were there.
Yeah.
You were one,
later,
one of the day
I came later. No, I came later.
It doesn't matter. You were there. And,
that's what I noticed the first day I came.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are all. I walk into that gym and it's like magic. I'm like, what? You're working out here. Rudy's over there. Yeah. Rudy's, working on how to perfect his shot.
Yeah.
Kieran's giving people tips here. Ebro's clapping all over the place.
Ebro.
I was like, what the hell is going on?
I still remember, without a lie, you walking through those doors. The first
I remember that day.
Ebro was in love. Finally.
Ebro was so excited when you walked in. He was like literally, he was literally shaking.
But he's always like that. He
was
like,
I still text Kirron and go, Kirron, there's a kid just showed up. He's 6'8",
thanks to Atem. I need extra inches sometimes.
He's like,
he was excited.
He was like,
this was his guy.
That's funny,
man.
So he knew.
He knew.
But I got that excitement from Rudy.
Yeah.
I found Rudy at Yeronga, the hoop dreams training.
Yeah.
And the excitement that Ebro had was actually Rudy telling me about St. James. Oh. So Rudy's telling me, I find Rudy practicing. He's working on, getting the ball to because there's no net. He's working on getting the ball to hit the back of the rim and come back. And this is like at the park where everyone's just, we're playing street ball. No one really cares about, like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'm just working on it, hit the rim and come back. And he's like, and then he starts telling me about St. James, and he had this excitement that was like, and then we have this genius coach, and I'm like, what genius coach? What are you talking about? And I was like, I gotta go check this out. Like, I have to go see this. I don't know what this is about. I felt the urge from Rudy to make it there. And then you meet this guy and he's clapping all over the place. And then you walk in that room, walk in the gym, and I'd never seen anyone like Gaspher or any of the other guys. You haven't mentioned anyone else. Hawani. I had never seen anything like that in my life. Like 10, 9, 6 or 7 really gifted guys, but like 10 guys who are all
athletic but driven as well. And that's what I think you get from Kirron, saying that compared with kids these days, they don't want to work after school, before training.
It's really interesting. Like I think that the thing that gets me the most was Gaspher saying that his ego was, a little bit, shaken but he still chose to get better. So, because obviously what I do is challenge you and say, okay, look, let's do something like this. Let's get better at that. And it seems simple, and I know can seem as offensive because everyone thinks they're better than they are already. But very few kids actually go, okay, how do we strip this back and start again and get better or go higher? And very, very few kids do it now. Whereas back then, like I think as you said, the vibe, the energy. Everyone was doing it, so it wasn't like it was offensive.
Everyone's doing it.
Everyone's just like, this is what we do. Like, we just get better. Like, why wouldn't you get better? It's really interesting. And I think that was the energy. Like, it just kept building and building and building, where everyone just wanted to get better every year. And we were able to do that until it stopped. So.
Yeah, it was we were all competitive. I think it was like the competitive nature that we all had. It was like, like KB said, we all wanted to get better. It was like we were all, training hard and just
challenging each
other, like.
But talking as well about it. Like, it wasn't just you, like, and then try and make other people worse.
Yeah.
You're trying, I've worked this out, try this. And then someone else is like, we're doing this, why don't you do it like this? And it was a conversation.
Yeah. And it was for the love of the sports as well, too. It was like we all loved the sport. it was something that we all just, like after school, we would all like just, gather together and just laugh and talk about how, you couldn't cross me over, you couldn't dunk with me.
On the train home?
Yeah, on the train home.
Or in the car home?
Yeah, so it was, it was interesting. Really.
I felt like an escape from everything else-ish. Because the school's not there. There's trouble going on at the school at the time, wasn't there? There's a few. Was there trouble at the school at the time?
Yeah.
Was there trouble, kids?
There was always trouble. There was always trouble. It was just different.
But the hall felt like a safe place for some reason.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was like a second home for all of us.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, we were so into sports that, I know, for example, I can speak on my behalf. He stopped me from getting into a lot of trouble at a very young age. I think it kind of got me into like, I would hear things going on outside of school and whatnot. But I think we were like a group of us were so driven by basketball that we just didn't care.
Yeah.
But there was always things going on. That that we would hear that was very.
But I think basketball took over that hall.
It took over.
It took over that hall. We did World Cup soccer I think once a year.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a basketball hall.
Yeah.
Like it was just it was where everyone just came together as a community, and that was the heart of the community, was that hall.
Or the barbecue after on Saturdays, Ebro would have barbecue for all of us, and we would have like a meal, up in the basketball hall. So we would have barbecues and chat and whatnot, and we would all just catch the same train home because we all lived in. We all pretty much live in certain areas, so we would go home as a group,
as
a
a
collective
group.
So which was,
I feel like basketball paid for this building. What do you think, Gaspher?
We need some equity.
Yeah, we need to talk about something, bro.
Straight up.
We walked in, Gasper's like, we need to talk about something, we need to address some things.
I walked in and the whole building had this. Some new equipment. So I'm like, hey, so you couldn't afford when we were there?
It was just, we couldn't get shoes.
Yeah, we couldn't,
We had no shoes.
You didn't have any shoes.
We didn't even have any shoes or shit.
Yeah, this guy, man, he reckoned I was in Africa or something. He's trying to fight.
But that was what was in the newspapers. You look at the newspapers, hey, all these kids have no shoes. I'm like, I came in my Jordans.
That's how they got all their money. Oh, these kids.
This guy knew.
I knew the whole time. Like, we'll play along. It's so good.
We gotta get this, So, man,
But it's interesting how you say things have changed because, at the time.
Just hold on a sec. People didn't have shoes.
For real.
Who didn't have shoes?
Ebro's been they didn't wear shoes.
So
Remember when you used to train?
They didn't have shoes. They didn't have a building. We've got extra buildings. They didn't have football field. We'll get extra football.
No, but you guys didn't wear shoes. You didn't. Maybe you had shoes. You didn't wear them. Or you had Vans.
Yeah,
you did not have basketball shoes. You did not have $200 basketball shoes.
Nah,
you were wearing either
Nah, that's true.
Like skate shoes or bare feet.
Yeah,
was the two options. And Ebro got in trouble for buying everybody's shoes.
You got in trouble for that?
Yes. I remember Ebro getting a lot of basketball shoes. It was...
Where'd you steal them from?
No one had shoes. He bought them.
You bought these?
No. What we did was when I was at another school, they used the Australian Sports Foundation to get tax-free dollars to build one of their buildings. And I thought, well, if they can do it, why can't we use the same...
Yeah.
So I come up with this lighthouse program for St. James where we get donations and we buy sporting equipment. So one year we got a donation from Rio Tinto, $5,000. So I went round to every kid that played basketball, boys and girls, year 8 to 12, wrote down the size of their shoe, and through East Bay bought $3,000 worth of hyper dunks and then gave them out. And so that was a real thing.
Yeah,
kids couldn't afford shoes, but it was
You could,
It's
though.
pretty
You're
cool.
one of the rich kids.
You were the rich one. LeBron. LeBron,
You
bro.
know, he was low-key handing me contracts and be like, hey, you're the first one to get this.
That's what he promised. That's like, hey, that's how Atem came. You got a contract.
Yeah,
We don't do scholarships, but
I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
This young kid.
here's some money.
He's 6'7".
Yeah.
He's athletic. He can jump off the roof.
If we pay you this money, just say you're 15. You can come if you say you're 15.
How much heat did other schools give you guys in the background? If you can shed any light on that, because I heard that sometimes parents would, complain that Gaspher looks sturdy, jumping over everyone. Tim looked 35.
I remember the story. So this what happened. So there was it was a Queensland competition that was going on, right? So I think it would have been there's a big tournament. It's a tournament that we have in September every year.
CBSQ.
Old
Yes,
schools.
thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
So there was a CBSQ that was going on every year, and all of the basketball schools around Queensland would participate in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so St. James' school name was so highly talked about that a lot of schools were interested in, like they had an eye out for St. James.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was an article that got published out, and I think there was 5 or 6, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 of us in that article. And
I still have it.
Is that the photo? We got the photo.
Yeah,
I still have that
it's in my
article
office.
laminated.
It's
Yeah.
me too. It's in my
It's
office.
in his office.
yeah, so
I still have it laminated.
that article, because
You had hair then.
every school, like they knew, like it was Stephen. Remember Stephen? Tall
Yeah,
Stephen. It was
Stephen
like
Kerr.
Stephen Kerr. He went in a lot of competition, so a lot of people also knew him. So it was this. It's almost like the Avengers, like how they put it together in that newspaper.
Yeah, yeah.
It was almost unfair of because we were old,
Tall,
and
athletic,
even
black,
all of us.
handsome.
Yeah, you were in it. A kid that just got recruited, the chosen one. Bro. Like those kind of those kind of calls that a lot of people are like
I wasn't invited to that photo shoot.
You weren't invited.
Nah.
Yo, what? Why weren't you there?
Look at my program. Kirron, the photo. It's at 3 o'clock. It's at 3 o'clock.
He's running late again.
Where's
Just
Kirron?
take the photo.
Just do the interview.
Rushing us down. Like, bro, I have class. No, get changed. Let's go. Take the picture.
Yeah, he had the plan all along.
Smart.
He had the plan. He drew it out. He knew exactly what it was.
So great.
Yeah, so that article, we didn't know. Someone came in and just took an article of us, and it just went viral. This was before social media. There's a lot of talk around, this St. James, these kids, and I think Atem would have been
36.
He would have been like in his 45 years of playing basketball or something. I'm sorry.
Saying he was 18.
Nah, he was like, I think 18. A lot of us were still under. Yeah. And so that he got disqualified from, they didn't want
He was
him to
turning
play.
19.
19?
19,
Yeah.
Because he came down from Sydney. So in Sydney, everyone was a year older.
Oh, Sydney,
So
yes.
he was at the right age, at the right grade, but when he moved up,
Yeah.
because everyone in Sydney, Victoria and all that stuff were always finishing school when they were 19.
Oh, right.
But here, the oldest you could finish was 18.
Okay.
So he'd moved up from Sydney, and so him, Seb at Rembang, and anyone who'd moved up from interstate, weren't allowed to play.
We weren't allowed to play, yeah. And I remember that, and I think, a lot of them had to sit down for that competition. They couldn't play.
Yep.
Yeah, and I remember Atem was so mad.
And
He couldn't play. He was mad
because
he couldn't play.
nationals,
Yeah.
you could be 19.
Yeah.
Because everyone in the whole country except for Queensland was 18, and I remember having the conversation, and it took like another 6 years for them to change it.
Yeah.
But to catch up with the rest of the country, and they were I remember that was.
Yeah, that article was what just blown it out of proportion, and everyone's like, well, he couldn't play. So I think it was a few.
That's why we started changing ages.
Oh right.
So we just started getting fake birth certificates and make everybody younger. And that's when we really, hit our straps.
Bro, people sometimes don't know you're being sarcastic. We're going to get us in trouble.
That's what people say anyway. I'm like, whatever,
They do say it anyway.
And then like they forget that in grade 8 they were beating us by 60. And then in grade 9 they beat us by 50. They forget that with the same kids. And then by the time those kids are in year 12, they're like, oh, they're too old. And I'm like, you don't remember beating us every single year by 50, 60. They just got better.
People don't talk about that. We were literally getting beat by the top schools by 50
and 60 points.
60. Gaspher, you were there.
Runcorn.
Mount Creek gave you what, Gaspher?
We got pumped by Runcorn, and the next year we come back.
Runcorn, too.
And we beat them, and they weren't happy
They
at all.
beat us by 40.
We were starting to beat teams, and I think that's what like a lot of institution schools
thought it was unfair.
They thought it was unfair. Like, how can you put all these guys in the same team? It's like, well, this is what we do. We bring the best.
But
it took a while.
They didn't complain when they were beating us.
Yeah. As soon as we start winning and beating teams, that's when they're like, no, it's unfair. This guy is like 6'9". Yeah. How can he play? This guy is, too good of a shooter. This guy's too this. So it was just a lot of started to.
Yeah, I heard a lot of the negative stuff on the sideline, like, oh, these guys are just street ballers. What are they doing in this competition? I'm like, are you kidding me? Working their butt off to participate, sort of thing. Yeah. And I think it was another one. We were walking into BBI one night, and it was a girls' school, and they said they were playing the retard school, which was St. James, and I'm like, pardon, So like early days, we copped a lot of criticism, and
it's because it's the first time that we were kind of breaking that barrier where we weren't. It wasn't a very mixed group of us. There was a few. There was like who was the. Is it Jared or who was
Jed?
It? Jed. Yeah, Jed was
the only white guy.
Jed and a few. Yeah, I think
and
Patty was
Patty. Sorry.
Jed and
This guy.
sorry.
Yeah, it was like Jed and Patty.
And they couldn't dunk. Everyone else could.
But Hawani and Manaki, we had lots of,
So it was very, it was very culture.
But it wasn't like every other school had let's be honest, 12 white guys. You know what I mean? Like no one had Polynesians back then. No one had Africans. Yeah. We had Polynesians, we had Africans, we had Asian people, very few Caucasian people. And we're walking to a gym and everyone's like, what are these guys going to do? It was, it was definitely a vibe.
It was cool.
Most of it,
was cool.
It was most of it is like they didn't have the strength, the quickness, and it was scary. Like you had someone like Manaki or Hawani, they would just come up from they would beat you from a 3-point and go in and just be jumping on top of you. And people are like, whoa. Yeah. You only see this in states. You don't see it in Brisbane, in Queensland. So it was something that was so different and unique for that time that it was we had guys like Hawani that was, just athletic, comes in, dunk on you, or you got someone like me coming in to lay up and just jumping up and blocking.
Yeah, no, blocking them. I remember. It's like, okay, I remember one of the first plays. Like 2 plays stand out for me just quickly. Is we were playing against Mountain Creek in our first CBSQ, and this guy came down and they stole it off whoever. Came down and he was a state kid as well, and he laid it up, and Hawani blocked it above the top of the square. Yeah. And the referee called goaltending. Yeah. And everyone looked at me, and I'm like, I don't know. So I said to the ref, I said, oh, what was that? And I said, why was that goaltending? He goes, I don't know. I've just never seen anything like it. And I went, and those tournaments were hard because I was teaching you guys some stuff, and another one was like some proper like NBA kind of moves, and the refs had never seen it before. And another one was you took one dribble and 2 steps from the 3-point line and laid it up at the rim, and the ref called a travel. Yeah. And I said to the ref, why is it a travel? And he goes, you can't move that far. Like, you're not allowed to move that far on one dribble. And
I literally remember those. I remember those moments. I literally remember those moments.
But I was looking at him, and you just can't move that far.
Couldn't explain.
And because you're too athletic. He's like, I don't know what to do. And then there's other one, Rudy. We're playing BBC, and Rudy blew by this BBC defender who was their best defender, and the guy wasn't fast enough. And so Rudy kneed him on the inside of his knee, and the guy did his ACL. And the referee had a no call. And I said, mate, like, how is that not a call? Like, he's got his head and shoulders past his hip. And the guy was like, oh, he was in good position. Because the BBC guy was moving. He was the elite defender, like, state team defender. He, like, moved across, strong body position and all this stuff. Rudy was just faster. And so he just couldn't keep up. So that's why he got smashed in his knee and he was done. Like I said, ACL. But the ref was just like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. And then they were calling all these travels and all this other stuff. And I went back to the video and watched it. Because you guys were asking me, how are they travels? And I'm watching the video going, no, they're not travels. They've just never seen anyone who can actually move like that.
Yeah.
And those early years were tough because, no one could jump. No one was blocking shots. No one was dunking. No one was doing this stuff. And no one was playing the way we were playing. And the refs didn't know how to ref it. And I feel for you guys because really that started changing the way that the refs started thinking about the game. Other teams started thinking about the game. It took a couple of years for everyone to catch up and then...
And duplicate?
Yeah. No, I mean for them to actually let us play that way.
Oh, yeah.
By the time 2013 came around and you were in it...
They let us...
They were used to people being athletic. They were used to people being fast. They were used to people actually doing some really, kind of smooth moves and not just making up calls because they weren't sure what they were seeing. So... But that first, couple of years was pretty rough because you did everything right, but literally the refs and the other team just didn't know what they were working with.
Yeah. I wanted to go back on, I don't want to bring up negative things, but anyway, people have negative things still to this day to say about St. James. There's a girl here who was telling me she moved to another school and whatever, right? Good school. And apparently she didn't like it there because she didn't fit in with some of the girls there. I don't want to be too specific, but anyway, she said oh God, it might be too specific, but anyway, she was saying that, I didn't fit in with that culture. They weren't my people. She was like, I actually want to move to St. James. And people were like, why would you there? Like, why would you go there? That's not a, quote unquote good school. But she's like, I have people there who who understand me, who
are my people,
who are my people, and people don't value that. I one time, someone that I know in this basketball program was asked, would you have changed anything if you could go to a different school would you have done it? And they said, yeah, I don't regret it, but I probably would have maybe, wanted to go to a GPS school. And I was like, that's cool. Like, good for you. But I like that, we're different than everyone else. I like that, we rose from the dirt. We're not the same as everyone else. I love that we walk in a place and everyone's looking like, who are those guys? Even if they have bad things to say. Because we all understand each other.
I think that definitely was the... I'd say the vibe, up until, 2018. You know what I mean? So that first 10 years was really, brought together by people, like by us, like being with our people and talking that way and knowing that way and knowing what we had to overcome and everyone was on the same page with it and working towards goals as a group. You know what I mean? Like, and as wide as Ebro is, like, is the biggest advocate of that, but like you got a radar for that. If people are unfair to someone, you're going to go fight for that underdog, and that's why you started the program in the first place, because you had 5 kids who didn't have what Terrace had, and you're like, well, how do I do that? How do I give them those opportunities? Yeah. And you're always that equalizer where you have that heart for, okay, who are my people? My people are the people who are the underdogs, who are fighting, who want more than what they're, doing, and are treated treated by the people who have everything as lesser sort of thing. So, and that was always that's always where we came from. And I think, it can be very motivational. You know what I mean? Like, and it's, you can achieve great things and change your world when you decide that, hey, I don't have to be the way that people think I should be. But yeah, you're right. Like some people, didn't like that. They wanted to go to a GPS school so they could say, hey, I went to this school.
I went to this school.
Rather than look what I made, look what I created. They wanted to say, no, look at the school I went to.
Yeah,
so,
the look.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I think, and that's more common now though.
Yeah.
Like
everything's about the look now.
Image and Instagram and what did you post? You post in your uniform or whatever, and then look what my school did, and that's what I didn't understand that. But I was talking to another friend who isn't from Brisbane, and in his workplace, he was like, I just sat in a conversation, like there's a conversation going on around him when all the GPS guys were talking about different rugby and championships that their school had won, and they were talking as if they were involved. They weren't involved in the championships, but like, my school wins this. Yeah, my school won this. What did your school? And they were talking about it as if it was them. So their identity was that private boys' school. And they didn't do anything except go to that school. Yeah. And that's their identity. And I mean, and that's really common, right? That's really common that happens. Like, look at my school. I'm better than you because my school did this. Not that I did it. Yeah. Whereas I've always been someone who wants to be able to say, look what I did. Yeah. I not even like, look what I did, but I know I did it. You know what I mean? Like, it took a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of calculation, a lot of practice. We were able to achieve this.
St. James has adopted some of that for a little while.
Yeah.
I go to St. James now.
No, it's like that. It's more like that now.
It's like going back to the, like the negativity. I think, like there's like, Ebro always believed in us. That's the thing. He always believed in us, and it wasn't just basketball, but it was just the whole sport in general. Like around St. James,
AFL.
Yeah, AFL. Like he's putting on a lot of work earlier in a lot of he connected with a lot of the sports that at St. James, and what he has put in. Mainly basketball was the driven point. It's something that drew a lot of people into the school, but he's also put in he had to go and knock on this door and be like, hey, look, these guys, I want to get this equipment for them. We got to get more basketballs, we got to get more facilities for them. I remember even him just cleaning the whole basketball stadium because it was slippery. He would do that before we even came in and started practicing. So there's a lot of dedication that you don't see at the time, but you appreciate it later on. It's like, wow, the things that he's also put in was, it's very positive in a way. That's something to also shine light on, take it for granted.
The whole thing was built on positivity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like positivity and
but
love
people didn't
hope.
People didn't believe in his
vision.
In the vision. Like they didn't believe, they didn't believe. They're like, oh no, like
the school.
It's just a bunch of kids. It's just but they didn't see the vision. But look at how many championship did you guys win a couple of years later?
Yeah, you weren't part of it.
Yeah, I wasn't.
We got that.
Yeah.
You got us there.
But also, how many?
We set the foundation. Someone got to take the bullet. Someone had to take the bullet.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I try to tell everyone. I say that those first 2 years were the most talented years we've ever had ever. Ever. No one's even close.
No one is close to Gaspher.
Not close to him. They were the most athletic and talented years we ever had. But with those, but we started from zero. You know what I mean? And like going from zero, and I didn't know. We weren't a part of competitions, and
pretty much.
It took all this effort to get. It only took us 3 years to win a championship. You know what I mean? There was literally 3 years. So from zero to championship, which has never been done before and will never be done again.
Yeah.
Right? So no program to championship in 3 years, right? And then obviously the next 10 years, winning a medal every year. So, and again, that'll never be done again. Yep. But, if you guys hadn't have done what you did, all the work, all the effort, the younger guys wouldn't, Atem wouldn't have taken that on, and then the group under him wouldn't have taken that on, and then it never would have built. So, I think that I always feel, I guess, mostly for you guys, because, you definitely, we could have, if you were after them, if you were 2013 or if you were 2014, then, we would have definitely won everything.
Crazy. I mean, watching the kids now, at the Gold Coast tournament this past weekend and just seeing where this thing has gone is it's unreal. It's unreal to see to me. What
do you mean?
What you three specifically have started is like you said, it's never been done and it's not going to happen again.
It'll never happen again. Like literally what we achieved in 10 years, in that first 10 years, is I don't think it'll ever be replicated again. So we went very first year we went 12, then we went 9, then we went 4, right? So the first year we
incredible.
But the first year we were only that first year we went 12.
Yeah.
We'd run for 3 months.
Yeah.
So it was
literally
the start of the term. We just put a team in. Right. Then 11 was when we had it for a year. Oh no, we went 9. Yeah. Then we went
then fourth.
Yeah. Right.
Is that with Ranko?
Yeah, with Ranko.
Yeah. Lost in the semi where we could have.
We're up 10 against Nudgee with a quarter to go. Just ran out of gas.
Yep.
And then we won the next year, and then second, third. I don't know what we're up to now.
You won again after.
And then we won, and then we won again, and then fourth, and then fourth.
Yeah,
they're back to back, which hasn't been done since. And then fourth, top 4 ever since. That's no one's ever
going
done
from that to
going
to
from from where you were, which is nothing, not wearing shoes.
Yeah. Little straw.
You and Rudy. Man, I gotta get Rudy here.
I want to sacrifice someone.
What was that guy's name that played AFL? The kid with liver failure. Remember him?
Which one?
Yeah. I think of his name.
What's that story?
AFL. I don't know.
He was one of our guys who came intermittently, but he had liver failure, so he couldn't train all the time. But he was one of the first guys that AFL brought over, and they gave him shoes and.
Wow.
This guy, something about him and shoes, man.
Yeah, bro. Hey, he just remembers it.
We're not talking about it. You're embarrassed. You're embarrassed about the fact
that. No, I love it, man. It's been a while, you know?
You don't remember. Seriously.
That was a long time.
But it blew my mind because I've come from where you coach and rep, coach and state. Everyone has the latest gear. And the kids that were coming just wanted.
Bracelet.
The kids
can't make a layup.
Bags. What?
That's why it's crazy to bring this together because it wasn't documented at all.
Not yet.
Not yet. But I gotta ask all of you, just one by one, to have created this magical thing. How do you go forward? How have you thought about going forward? What did you take from that? Or have you even looked backwards? How do you think about moving forward from that?
My perspective, I haven't looked back too often, but I just see new kids coming through. I still clap. I still walk around, clap, get excited when I see kids show up to St. James. But just in recent years, I've taken the same model that Kirron and I sat down and sort of devised for rugby. And rugby at St. James exploded. It's gone from 60 kids to 120, 130 kids. And all we've done in that model is focus on the player, focus on the individual. And I think it's called Brave and Bold. And it's St. James war cry back from the 1940s is wear the maroon and gold, wear the school that are brave and bold. So we've taken that, identified, that's the slogan, that's the logo. And kids have just, like the basketball program, just shown up because I suppose they believe my hype, but also they want to be part of something that's not a big program, you know, because in the rugby league circles in Brisbane, you've got, you know, the Mabels, the Marstons, you've got Wavell State High, have got all these big programs, much like back in the day with the BBC and the Churchies, and it's a similar thing, and I'm getting a similar vibe from families that they want to be part of something that's different. So we've got a lot of cultural families that want to come for more than just the rugby league or the rugby. They want to come for the whole program that we offer here at St. James. So for me to say, you know, if you say, oh, what going forward or looking back, or going forward for us at a school is taking a model that has worked, has been successful, and just adapting that to a different sport. And, you know, as I said, we're 18 months into that, and it's just going, it's crazy.
Awesome.
So it's pretty exciting to be part of the first one, but also it's also exciting for me to be part of a second program at St. James that's successful. But looking back early days, I can honestly say it started when I had a conversation with Kirron about this young man here and his athletic ability and just the potential. And I didn't want to see him not reach his potential purely because of all the barriers that were around at that time, whether it was lack of facilities.
You were the chosen one, Gaspher.
No, that's
you
100%.
were the reason we started the program.
That was 100%. It was a conversation with Kirron.
Because you didn't have shoes.
It was Kirron about you and your shoes. But that's the truth. That's the truth. I said, Kirron, you got to see this kid. You got to come and see this kid. And then
Tasmania.
Yeah, and then from then on, it just as I said, it was you got to see this other kid. You know, 6'11".
What is that?
That was the
what is that when
right
you?
now.
What is that now? But what is that when you hear that? What like? What,
Hey,
what is like?
no, I'm honored. Like I'm really, I think, obviously, like I've put in a lot of work at that time. The hours that I put in, you know, like, you know, I remember kids coming to school, like, you know, I came to this school because of you. Like, you inspire me, like, you know, to even play basketball. There's things like that I hear. I'm like, wow, like this is very inspirational because I wasn't even expecting, you know, people to come to me and be like, hey, oh, like, you know, I admire what you do, you know, like I think it's great to see how the program took over the years, like how it went from, you know, how we broke that barrier. Now it's like winning championships later and, you know, kids wanting to come into school and wanting to improve not only sports but the educational as well.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. There is a culture within this school that is very traditional and it's very raw, and it's still a lot of people need to, you know about it because there is a culture here that, you know, that as long, you know, embedded into our life, like, you know, the same concept that I took here, training, the mindset, you know, I think that has, you know, improved my overall, you know, how I think, you know, and how I, if I put my mind into something, you know, I definitely, you know, can do it. Like you learn a lot from, you know, not just sport, but just, you know, being around the guys that are, that we used to hoop with. I'm still friends till to this day. Those guys, you know, has also changed my life. It's a brotherhood, that we all started together, and I think it has changed the shape of this place. You know, it's something that it didn't start only with me, but it was like a collective group thing. I think it was a collective group thing that we all put our energy into. It wasn't just, you know, it wasn't just me. You know, I was a small portion of it, but there was also all this identity of each person that brought into the table, and I think that's what made it great. I think that's what made people drawn into the program that we had. It was like, you know, it was something that it was so intriguing. A lot of people were like, wow, what's going on here? You know, it started, you know, school wanted to participate into playing against us because they also wanted to improve their skills. You know, there was people that wanted to verse us on Friday night games. They, you know, it's a welcoming place also. You know, we didn't look at anyone like as in someone, oh, this and this person is like, you know, we didn't judge. It was, you know, we were all from, you know, different backgrounds, you know, and I think that's what made it unique. We were all has different personalities and wanted to be a part of this wave that was, you know, what we didn't even know that was going to potentially take over, you know, for a very long time period. And, you know, all those guys, you know, made this thing possible. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that it's worth, you know, reflecting back into, you know, definitely.
You're so humble, bro. You're like a politician. That's just freaking beautiful to hear. That's really crazy. That's who you are. You don't want to take all the credit, but I just want to like keep saying thank you. I don't know. I was that kid saying, like, just being next to you guys on the train and talking about this and watching you do unthinkable things while just being a good, nice person. You know, I think people forget that. That's really important. Never been an asshole to anyone. I've never seen it. Nearly fought someone one day, but that's another story for another time. We don't need to get that.
Part two.
That's part two.
To be considered, but
yeah. Like, thank you. I don't know how to say it.
This program, like, I remember, like, you know, it's you know, even how we used to ride bikes or even run to KB house, like to train on Saturday.
Crazy.
Like early Saturday mornings, we would, there was a pool there for recovery. He had mats for all of us and we'd do like drills, you know, that to improve our strength and stuff like that. So, it's what changed the evolution of what it is now. Like I remember everyone's like, oh my God, you used to go to that school. I want to go to that school next year. Yeah. Literally, I had like there's kids that are like used to come up to me, oh, you're that guy. Or like like Rudy and I and would be, you know, when Atem would be going home, oh, you're that guy that used to, you know, you guys, like they look up to, like, you know, and I think it's like, it's so inspiring to them. It's like, oh, I want to go to that school, you know, like I want to, it was like, it's something that is just, it's very inspiring. And till this day, there's so many young kids that, you know, eventually, you know, would shape it and take it into a higher level and into the professional level or the next level. Who knows how, you know, it's, you know, where they're going to take it. It's just as long as you put your mind into it, you know, you can take it out wherever you want to take it. And I think I'm very grateful for this program that we started, you know, like this program has like literally changed my life. Like this program that we started. It's like, I think for me, it stopped me from trouble, literally from doing like basketball, sports. I still took that on until this day. I'm always like conditioning myself or like how can I, like, it just mentally is good for you as well. And I think that's something that it's very, it's good. Yeah, it's self-discipline. That's the way, yeah. So self-discipline, like discipline yourself. And I'm pretty sure, you know, like a lot of people are carrying on with that tradition. Like, yeah, so, you know.
So what's the future? What?
Apart from, you know, being very humble, let's talk about something that is fun. You know, like what's been going on with you guys? You know, like
what is fun, KB? What's
going
fun,
on,
man?
KB? You
what's
know?
happening, man?
He cut his hair just recently. I was ready to mock him about that. I was like, the reason why he was late is like combing his hair, straightening it,
He's gonna look pretty.
This guy has no hair.
It's like the rock boy there.
Man, that's so bad.
Yo,
like, talk about
I was ready to roast.
I'm not gonna lie, you both look like an 80s cop movie. Both of you together, I'm not gonna lie. You with the
we're about the
jeans?
same age. We're about the same age. We're about the same age, man. Are you serious? I should have brought my skin tight jeans.
Hey, don't let the glasses fool you. This guy is he's
same age as you.
Yeah,
That's all you need to know.
Still go with that.
1945.
1945. That's when it all started. The truth.
The truth.
So you got any kids yet?
Oh, you want to bring my personal life into this?
Yeah. I just want the genetics.
Just catching up, bro.
I just want the genetics.
Part 2 to be continued.
I just want to know.
Part 2.
Well, you know, we always talk about love here.
Yeah.
You know.
He's talking about love.
Oh, this guy.
Love.
You know, we always talk about love here. So
Yeah.
that's why he's asking. I
He's
think, 'cause
asking.
I don't know.
No, because you talk about the future.
Yeah, the
and like I'm
future.
just waiting for like the next generation of Gasper's athleticism to come through.
We saved up for part 2.
Okay.
Ebro will be waiting. Say James.
Top
You know about that. You, Rudy, and Atem, start bringing them through.
Well, Atem's already started.
Congrats to Rudy, by the way.
Rudy's gotten married.
He's on it.
Yes, absolutely. It's beautiful.
Yeah, he got in both of his knees, and that's congrats.
That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really respect him.
Absolutely.
That's good.
And you or any? Anyway, we don't.
This guy.
Sorry.
This guy want me to get on both knees. I will soon.
Soon you going to?
Yeah, I want to, man. I think it's
Marriage?
It's good.
You might have to mentor Atem. He's trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I think. I used to be like
I'm
that.
looking up to you. I'm waiting for you guys.
He's stuck. He's stuck in between.
I'm waiting
Looking
for
at
you
the
guys.
economy, it's like,
Yeah,
the
not gonna
inflation
lie.
rate is pretty high.
Economy's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I need a job.
Yeah, too many pies to divide.
Too many pies. Too many pies. Too many fingers and too many pies.
Yeah,
That's cool. It's cool seeing the next generations of people. You know,
next wave.
everyone's kids are massive now. From the time we used to
Boys
see them
are
running
grown
around.
up.
Tim
Now they're
Atem as
massive.
a kid.
Tim got kids.
Yeah.
I didn't even
beautiful.
know. He keeps things so secretly these days.
You talk to each other, man.
This guy might have like 7 kids.
Don't worry
I
about
know,
me.
man.
Exactly. He probably does.
Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me.
You don't know.
Just come here once a week and podcast.
Oh man, if we went on camera, I'm trying to keep it respectful for the camera, man.
Just press that record button off.
Turn it off and get to it.
So even you, man, if this camera weren't rolling, I got so much.
We'll do that later.
Yeah,
We'll do that later.
We haven't catch up in so long. That's why we're trying to keep it respectful. But if it wasn't for that, part 2 is going to be.
Part 2 is great,
Part
but this was important, and
This is important.
thank you guys, for showing up and just sharing.
It's been good.
All three of you.
Yeah.
All three of you. All
Just
three.
the,
Just,
I think just the emotion when you walked around the corner. I hadn't seen you for, like a decade.
A decade.
Easy.
Yeah, a decade.
It's just.
It was overwhelming. I did not like.
Yeah.
I think when I saw you over there, I was like, wow.
Started weeping.
Yeah.
Almost.
It's like tears
beautiful.
started coming.
I'm very emotional.
Don't make me cry too, man.
The chosen one.
Yeah,
the chosen one. This is the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it's great. Like
what do you want to leave the kids with? The new kids who are. Let's listen on that. What do you want to leave the words?
The words.
You want to leave the kids that are
Part 1.
Yeah, in part 1. What do you want to leave the kids?
This program has this. Don't take this program for granted. I think there's powerful minds around you guys. I think you have great coaches, great systems, and I think don't take it for granted. I think put in the work. Put in the work. I think if you put in the work, you can go far in terms of what you want to do. I think just listen to what your coaches say, and take and put that into practice. I think it's work hard, work hard. I think it's a lot easier now, I would say, like for me personally, like I think it's a lot easier now. You can literally, if you train hard, if you train and put your mind into it, you can really you can do it.
There's opportunities.
There's opportunities there.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities that is out there. You just got to be able to put into work, and you can take it far.
Amazing.
Reminds me of a saying. I think it's something like, in life or sport, you need a bit of luck, and the harder you work, the luckier you are.
Yeah.
So I think that's sort of what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Work hard and
the luck will come.
Luck will come.
Search's podcast. Thank you guys. Amazing.
That's
Thank
it.
you. My first.
Amazing.
Wow. And not only that, but just to finish up on that note, I think what you guys are doing here, it's great. Like, it's great how you guys connect to have a group, an audience that connect. And I watch it. I think you guys can really excel.
You need to talk to our editor. Get some more.
I don't know what's wrong with our editors, man. Yo, get your stuff right, editors. Man. Come on, man. We need to get our editor.
Since you had some content.
Oh, really?
Chris told me, he was like, yo, I've been indulging in love for 2 weeks. When's the next episode? I've been indulging in love for 2 weeks. When's the next episode? I was like, oh, my bad, bro.
Free the guy, man. Free the boy.
Nah, thank you guys for showing up. Man. Well, you coming and sharing, and that's what helps this thing continue to keep going. That's it, It's just you guys coming and sharing your expertise, your knowledge, your feelings, your whatever. It's just cool,
No, it's
catch up. That's the whole point.
It's definitely
that's the whole point.
It's good. Like, this guy just he ended this pod a long time ago. Yeah, he doesn't have mics in his
hand. Yeah.
He put it on the side.
That's the Beyonce of the group. That's Beyonce of the group. So when Beyonce's done, she just done.
Just chuck it out.
Hey guys, such a podcast. Hey, we gotta end it there. We gotta have to end it there. Thank you guys. God bless.
Keep it rolling, man. Keep it rolling. We are not done. You think you're Beyonce? The boy,
I was just trying not to interrupt.
You can get on the top, bro. Can you come sit with us every week?
Because the funny thing about him is that when he's not talking, he put his mic down. He wants to be the one that talks. KB, we are not done. Keep rolling. That's my guy.
I'm sick of listening to you.
This is
meant to be about me.
He's mocking me about my shoes.
You gotta get it back.
Man.
You gotta get it
back. What's up now, man? Let's talk.
Mic off.
Nah, man. Hey, let's
thank you guys.
About it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Nah,
thank you guys. That's all I wanted to say. We're gonna come back.
Appreciate it.
Search's podcast. God bless. Keep searching.
Thank you.
That's